This is Frank Goss with SGTV. The 1920s and 30s brought lots of change to the Windy City. Notorious gangsters, jazz, prohibition, a serious art community, the Great Depression, and phenomenal growth, some of which was built on the backs of Swedish Americans. Frederick Remahl arrived in Chicago in 1923. The 24-year-old Swede found a churning city of 3 million, a larger population than it has today. Speakeasies lined Rush Street. Jazz was the music of the day, and there were more Swedes in Chicago than any city in the world outside of Stockholm. Trained at the Minneapolis School of Fine Art and later in Paris, Remahl arrived in Chicago and focused his career on art. As part of the Bohemian Fringe, Remahl frequented the Dill Pickle Club, where freethinkers, artists, writers, musicians, and dancers would meet. Like the rest of them, Remahl was on the fringe of society. Nearly every Remahl painting depicts an outsider or an outsider's view. The Dill Pickle Club was off Dearborn Street, and the sign outside read, "Step high, stoop low, leave your dignity outside." Remahl would have mixed with the eclectic group that included Emma Goldman, Clarence Darrow, Upton Sinclair, Sherwood Anderson, William Carlos Williams, fellow Swede Carl Sandburg, as well as gangsters, prostitutes, and social revolutionaries of every kind. Little the gallery has ever seen speaks so clearly of Remahl's sense of isolation than his canvas, Forest Meditations. He aggressively submitted his work to the Art Institute of Chicago and had 13 pieces accepted for exhibition between 1927 and 1949. His Art Institute entries included frequent topics like cheap rent and boats on Lake Michigan. As isolated as Remahl's images are, there is no denying their sense of magic. His view of the beach was separate from the crowded beach scene the Chamber of Commerce wanted to show. Remahl's landscapes are always testing the boundaries of reality and dream. Exhibitions of his work at the Brooklyn Museum, the Minneapolis Art Institute, the Denver Art Museum, the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Art, the Chicago Art Institute, and the Corcoran Gallery are all testament to the recognition of his talent. Perhaps the most consistent sign of his acceptance was his participation in the Works Progress Administration. His scrapbooks are full of articles about his work from the major publications of the Great Depression. Not to forget the struggles of the time, Remahl kept a humble journal, noting his receipt of his monthly WPA check for $47 and all of his art expenses, including the purchase of twine and glue for a dime and a gum eraser for a nickel. However, beauty called to Remahl, even in the depths of the Great Depression. His work includes Barn and Silo and this mysterious study, Tree in Orangescape. As I look at Remahl's work, I am reminded of the opening lines of James Thurber's The White Deer. If you should walk and wind and wander far enough on one of those afternoons in April when smoke goes down instead of up and nearby things sound far away and far things near, you are more than likely to come at last to the enchanted forest. Welcome to the world of Frederick Remahl, May 6th through July 3rd at Sullivan Goss, an American gallery.